welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see important current affairs which appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. So let's get started with our discussion, and please do watch this video until last so that you'll be getting lots of insights regarding how you have to analyze this Hindu newspaper and how you have to make the notes. Okay, now let us see the first article, guys. So if you see the title of this article, it is saying that judges transfer is not related to rumors, says Supreme Court. So what is the keyword? The keyword here is transfer of judges. Transfer of judges. So from which subject you will be seeing this, guys? From GS paper 2 under polity. So in polity you will be studying about three important organs of the state. So what are the three important organs of the state? So if you consider this is a state, so we have three important organs. First one is executive, second one is legislature, and third one is judiciary. What is this executive do? Which will implement the plans. So executive will implement the plans or programs, whatever it may be. So implementing part will be done by this executive. And who will make this laws? So legislature will make laws. Legislature will make laws. And what about judiciary? So judiciary will interpret the laws. So interpreting is nothing but it will see whether the law or whether that anything which is according to our constitution or not. If it is according to constitution, it's okay. But what if it is not according to the constitution, then Supreme Court will make it struck down and it will say it is null and void. It will say it is null and void. Okay, so here in judiciary, if you take, in our country, we have integrated judiciary system. So we have Supreme Court at top of the country, and we have High Court which is top in the state, and the district we have district courts or subordinate courts. And in this subordinate courts we have civil courts and as well as criminal courts, civil courts and criminal courts. So in this Supreme Court, what we have? So we have CJI plus other judges. So in this High Court also we have Chief Justice of High Court and other judges, right? So this article is talking about these people, judges, not Chief Justice of High Court or not Chief Justice of India. It is talking about judges. And that too, they are not talking about appointment process. They are talking about transfer. So here what you have to see, here you have to see about provisions of these judges in High Court and Supreme Court. And especially you have to see this collegium system. And you have to see about details regarding transfer of judges. Okay, we are not going to involve in any political issue which is happening beyond this transfer of judges or what led to this or anything. We are not going to see about past or future. But what is there which is concerned with our subject, that is polity, we will be seeing that. So political things, it is not at all necessary to know what is happening, who did this, everything. We won't at all concern about that. So if you see this context, it's saying that Supreme Court issued a statement. So what is that statement? Misinformation and rumors are being spread with regard to an incident at the residence of Delhi High Court judge. Okay, so regarding the transfer of Delhi High Court judge, so there are lots of rumors which are going on. So there is a spreading of misinformation. So here Supreme Court said that no. So the transfer of this judge happened according to this collegium only. Okay, so if you are talking about some provisions regarding the transfer of judges in our constitution, so which article talks about it, you have to make a note. That is 222, Article 222. and that too class 1 of this article 222, which says that a judge of one high court may be transferred to another high court. But who is having the power? That is president. But president cannot alone do that. But president can do by consulting Chief Justice of India. Okay. And judges transferred under this provision, they are entitled to compensatory allowance, and this compensatory allowance will be determined by parliament, not president. So you have to see these minor things on which the question can be asked. So here, transferred by whom? President, after consulting with CJI. And who will be paying this compensation? That will be determined. So how much amount will be determined by parliament. And if you see about this process of transfer, so the transfer process is initiated by CJI, that is Chief Justice of India, whose opinion is determined or determinative in such matters, and the recommendations are viewed by Supreme Court Collegium. So what is Supreme Court Collegium? It is having CJI and other 4 senior most judges of Supreme Court, and they will be reviewing, okay, and they will be taking the consent, okay. And next, if you see about this judicial review of transfers, so actually there is a very limited judicial review on this transfers, okay, that's the thing. And if you're talking about this collegium system, we have this collegium system for SC, that is Supreme Court, and as well as HC, that is High Court. So if you see about Supreme Court collegium system, it is composed of Chief Justice of India and also 4 senior most judges of Supreme Court. Okay, and this collegium is responsible for recommending appointments as well as transfers and elevation of judges to High Courts and as well as Supreme Court. And next, if you see about this High Court Collegium, it is mainly composed of Chief Justice of High Court, and they will be having 2 senior most judges of High Court. Okay. And if you see the next article, it is very important. Title says, Chhattisgarh government announces a new scheme for providing special incentives for Maoist-free panchayats. So in yesterday's class also we discussed about Chhattisgarh, why it is in news. So recently operation done in Bastar region in Chhattisgarh, and finally now government is taking certain steps to control Maoism or left-wing extremism or Naxalism. So what is this topic is about? Left-wing extremism or Maoism or Naxalism. So in which subject you will be seeing this? GS paper 3 under internal security. So what are the dimensions you have to see? What is this left-wing extremism or Maoism or Naxalism? What is this first? What is the meaning of this? And you have to see about history. So when it was started. In India, it started in this Naxalbari region of West Bengal. And you have to see about what are the causes of this left-wing extremism. And next, you have to see about what is the impact of this left-wing extremism. And you have to see about what are the measures. So in these measures, already I said all these dimensions that you have to see in the last class, right? So in the measures, you have to write about state measures. That is nothing but now Chhattisgarh government came up with a new scheme, and you have to add about that name of the new scheme. Okay, now let us see this article. And what is the name of this new scheme? So this new scheme is Elwad Panchayat Abhiyan, ELVAD, Elwad Panchayat Abhiyan. So now let us see the context, guys. So here now state is encouraging certain schemes so that it wants to make state should be free of Maoism. So if you see some important key points which are given in this article, so now the Deputy Chief Minister of this Chhattisgarh state, they announced a scheme called as Elwad Panchayat Abhiyan, and this scheme which is going to facilitate to surrender for every resident of its constituent villages had been involved in Naxal activities. They are nothing but they are focusing on surrendering of these Naxalites, and they want to ensure that their village is Maoist free. And after once a village get the status of Maoist free, now they'll get funds. So funds of around 1 crore rupees immediately will be sanctioned to that so and so panchayat. And even they are going to improve a mobile network facilities, and even they are focusing on installing of a tower for transmitting it by a nearby tower, and even they are going to provide improved electricity connection. Okay, and next one here is they are also focusing on improving of skill development, training impartment, and as well as they're also going to allot land and as well as house under PM housing scheme also. So these all are the benefits that they are going to get if any panchayat is announced as Maoist free. Okay, clear? And now let us see the next article, guys. Title says India-Malaysia plan counter-terrorism exercises for 2026. So this article is also very important. So because here we are having a problem called as terrorism in India, right? The key word here is terrorism. So from which subject you will be seeing? From GS paper 3 under internal security. So what are the dimensions you have to see here? What is terrorism? You have to see what is terrorism. Next, you have to see what are the causes of terrorism. And next, you have to see through which routes terror people they are entering into India. And you have to see relevant examples of terror attack. For example, Pulwama attack, or else Uri attack, Mumbai attack. Okay, like that you have to see some examples of terror attacks which happened in India. And you have to see about what are the strategies that are present so that we can counter this terrorism in India. And you have to see with different countries also, we will be having agreements or memorandum of understandings. So what are those still we have? So we have to see that. And next you have to see what are the challenges we have, and we have to see about organizations which are present in India, especially they will focus on this terrorism. Okay, for example, we have NSG. So like that, you have to see what are the organizations that we have that will be dealing with only terrorism. So if you are making notes in this way, then you will be very much prepared with this from your mains and as well as prelims point of view. Okay. So now let us see this article, what it is saying about. So recently, ASEAN, that is a Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Defense Ministers Meeting Plus had happened. So it is 14th level meeting, and in this meeting, so India and Malaysia, they had talks on sideline, and finally they said that they are going to have top exercises. So we are going to have this top exercises in 2026, and we are focusing on training exercise. Okay, that is to counter terrorism. So if you are talking about where is Malaysia located, so here this part is Malaysia, right? So here we can see lots of water bodies like South China Sea is there. Here we have Gulf of Thailand, here is there, and this part is South China Sea. So and here we have Pacific Ocean, and we have Sula Sea, and we have Celebes Sea nearby. So you have to see about location of this Malaysia, and as well as you have to see about nearby water bodies. It is very important. And if you see, already we have a military exercise between India and Malaysia, that is military exercise Harimo Shakti. So it is annual training event, and it is mainly started in the year 2012. And actually every year, like alternatively, it will held one time in India and one time in Malaysia. And latest edition happened in 2023. Okay, and we are focusing on improving of military capability on both the sides, and we want to conduct especially counter-terrorism operations in the jungle area. Okay, and now let us see the next article. Title says there is progress on GM food crops, says official. So here very important topic, that is about genetically modified crops. So GM is nothing but genetically modified. Okay, so where you will be studying about this genetically modified crops. So it is part of your science and technology, which comes under GS paper 3. So what you have to see? You have to see about what is genetic modification first of all, and you have to see what changes we'll do in this genetics so that we can get this genetically modified organisms. And next you have to see examples of genetically modified crops. So far we have BT cotton, BT brinjal and GM mustard. And next we have to see about what are the rules and regulations of this genetically modified crops in India. And you have to see about what are the challenges we are facing with this genetically modified crops. And you have to see what is a way forward. So if you do all these things, then your work is done, guys. So now let us see this article. So this article is saying that Department of Biotechnology in India announced progress in the realm of genetically modified food crops. So actually now DBT, that is Department of Biotechnology, announced about the progress. Yes, progress is happening in this genetically modified food crops, and we are focusing on especially coming out of the legal challenges that we have regarding cultivation of especially GM mustard. Okay, so actually environmental ministry gave an approval for this cultivation, that to commercial cultivation 2022 itself, but actually there is pending under Supreme Court. Okay, now if you see this article, it is saying that environmental ministry gave approval for this commercial growth of this GM mustard, but now it is under legal scrutiny. That means lots of questions you are raising about the regulatory frameworks in especially agriculture biotechnology. So whatever the Supreme Court hearing or whatever the judgment Supreme Court gives, on which our future policy direction is dependent. And next one here is we are focusing on safety and public perception issues. So actually there are many activist groups, they raised especially safety concerns over GM mustard. So it mainly reflects broader public apprehensions towards genetically modified organisms now. And even there is a lot of role which is played by government agencies. So now before hearing of the Supreme Court itself, Ministry of Biotechnology gave a statement that yes, we are moving advanced. Okay, that means we are focusing on GM crop deployment soon. And this one here is we are having a concerns regarding bio regulations on innovations. And actually, if you want to achieve this bio E3 policy, yes, we have to compulsorily, for sure, we have to promote this agriculture biotechnology so that we can integrate industries like pharmaceuticals and as well as enzymes as well, so that we can create employment opportunities in India. Okay, so that is the thing that you have to remember. That's it. And now let us see the next article, navigating differences. So this article is talking about India and New Zealand relations. Okay, so what you have to see whenever you are getting this kind of articles in news, first you have to see the location. Where is this New Zealand located? So in last 2 days we are discussing about this topic, right? It is not at all a new topic. So here in this article we will be focusing on what are the advancements happen between India and New Zealand relations. Okay, so now let us see this article clearly, and this article is important from your international relations. So what are the things that you have to see? It is about India, New Zealand relations, right? So you have to see about history, when it was started. And next you have to see about different areas of cooperation. And you have to see about what are the challenges. And next you have to see about what is the way forward. Okay, and especially you have to see what is happening now, that is the present context. You have to see about present context. Okay, now let us see this article, what it is saying. So here this article is talking about this Prime Minister of New Zealand. He made an official visit to India, and we had bilateral talks between our Indian Prime Minister and as well as New Zealand. And finally, after these talks, they released India-New Zealand joint statement. So you have to focus on this. So actually, why this New Zealand Prime Minister he came? Because he's attending this 10th Raisina dialogue. Okay, now if you're talking about the details regarding this India-New Zealand joint statement, they said that they are going to improve economic cooperations. For example, how can we improve economic cooperation? So we can have bilateral negotiations or bilateral trade agreements. So we are going to have bilateral trade agreements. For example, New Zealand said that they are opening doors to India policy. It was very important. And next one is authorized economic operators mutual recognition arrangement. That is AEO-MRA was signed so that we can have the easy movement of goods between these two countries. So through these two things, yes, we are going to improve economic cooperation with New Zealand. First important thing. And next one here is security cooperation. So a defense cooperation memorandum of understanding was signed for regular engagements. For what? For military exercises, for naval visits, etc. So that we can join India's Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative. That is, New Zealand expressed its concern that yes, we want to join this India's Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative so that we can improve security cooperation as well. And this one is we can also increase global cooperation. So both countries they pledged for upholding of free, inclusive and stable Indo-Pacific region so that we can support rules-based order and we can focus on navigation freedom under this UNCLOS. And next one here is climate change. New Zealand also reaffirmed the support for India's ISA, okay, Solar Alliance. And even we are focusing on cooperating together to achieve the sustainable development goals. And how many sustainable development goals we have? Around 17 sustainable development goals, and by which year we have to achieve that? 2030. And for this also, yes, we both countries can come together and cooperate. And next one is even to reach this targets of Paris Agreement. So what is this Paris Climate Deal or Paris Climate Agreement? So in which year we came up? We came up in year 2015. So what it says, we have to reduce temperature to 2 degrees or at least 1.5 degrees when we compare with pre-industrial level. So for that we need proper memorandum of understanding and as well as proper technology, proper fronts. And next one here is we want also to achieve the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction. So if you study or if you read your disaster management, to reduce the disaster in any country for say, so there is a proper protocol. They have to follow certain guidelines. So those guidelines will be given by the Sendai framework. And regarding the Sendai framework also, we are going to work together. And this one is regarding education and sports also. We had education cooperation arrangement and even sports cooperation memorandum of understanding. So finally we signed them to strengthen academic partnerships and as well as student exchanges, and even we are also having some sporting ties as well, and even we are planning to celebrate 100 years of sports relation 2026. It is very important significant event in 2026. And this one is, if you see about diaspora, so both leaders, they acknowledge India's diaspora's role, and we are focusing on strengthening of ties and as well as commitment to ensure for the safety and as safety of the students and tourists. And even also India raised concerns about this pro-Khalistan activities in New Zealand. Okay, that means we have certain challenges also. So we have to come up with a proper plan, proper strategy and proper way forward so that we can mitigate these challenges. And this one is why we have to focus on this New Zealand. Why New Zealand is important for India? It is very important. So first one here is New Zealand is having advanced farming practices. Especially New Zealand is very much famous in dairy and as well as horticulture, so that it will be very much helpful for India for modernization of our agriculture. And food processing also is very important. And this one is skill development. New Zealand is a top tier education. It is having very good education system so that mainly attracting Indian students, and even we can conduct some vocational training programs so that we can increase the skill in Indians. And next one is clean energy. So New Zealand is also expertise in clean technology and clean climate technology so that actually we can achieve our targets of Paris climate deal if you're having this kind of technology transfer to India. And this one here is we are also focusing on the markets because it is having very good exclusive economic zone and also very good maritime security so that we can control or we can counter Chinese presence in this Indo-Pacific region also. So from that point also it is very important, guys. And now let us see the next article. Title says charting a route for IORA under India's chairship. So just focus on IORA, that is Indian Ocean Rim Association as of now. So actually in your prelims you will be getting questions regarding organizations for sure. And even in mains also, normally in IR you will be getting 3 questions, 1 question for sure regarding in organizations. So it may be RCEP or it may be Asian or it may be G20 or it may be IORA also. Okay, who knows? So you have to be very much clear and you have to focus on especially topics which comes under your editorial part. Okay. So what is this IORA? That is Indian Ocean Rim Association. So actually it is intergovernmental organization which is established to promote economic cooperation and as well as regional integration among the countries bordering Indian Ocean. And this one is this IORA member states, they work on various initiatives. So in which area they focus? They focus on trade, investment and sustainable development. And actually the membership for this IORA is open for everyone. There is no restricted membership here. And next one here is how many members are there. As of now, 23 current member states are there part of this IORA. So I have to see those members. And even we have some dialogue partners like China, Egypt, Germany, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Turkey. And what are the objectives? Objectives part you have to focus, guys. So what are the objectives? The first one is we want to promote sustainable growth and balanced development in this region. And we want to focus on economic cooperation, and we want to focus on promoting of liberalization and as well as lowering of barriers so that we can improve trade and as well as free flow of goods and services, investment, technology, etc. And if you see this rim of association, that is Indian Ocean Rim of Association countries, so these are the countries which are part of this Indian Ocean Rim, and you have to see like this. And whenever you're getting organizations in news, so you have to make a map also. It is very important. You have to represent a map in your answers. So these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and please do like this class and share this class, and do subscribe to Rathods Science Academy. Don't forget.